Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again so much for our time together. It's a beautiful Saturday. Services tonight, all day tomorrow. We'll be coming back out of Acts 19. Every one of us at some point in our life has to face a situation where somebody has gotten the emotions of everybody completely out of control. How do you deal with it? We find the answers in Acts 19. But right now, let's go back to Jesus' words in Luke chapter 12. Meanwhile, when a crowd of many thousands had gathered, so that they were trampling on one another, Jesus began to speak first to his disciples. Now notice, he's in the middle of this crowd. He turns and he speaks intimately to the 12. Be on your guard against the yeast of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. What you have said in the dark will be heard in the daylight, and what you have whispered in the ear of the inner rooms will be proclaimed from the rooftops. In the middle of all the corruption that Jesus lived and ministered among, a time in which Jesus shined like a bright star, a remnant in the midst of all the darkness and corruption, he turns to his disciples and he talks to them about learning to live free. Now, when you give in to the proverbial dark side, when you give in to the corruption of religion, you lose your freedom. And he's teaching them, this is how you live free. He said, now listen, everything that has been concealed will be disclosed. Everything that is hidden will be made known. Everything that is said in the darkness will be heard in the daylight. Everything that is whispered in secret will be proclaimed in some public fashion. So he teaches his disciples, never live in hypocrisy. That's the whole context. Be on your guard against hypocrisy. He said, listen, don't be like the politicians, the religious politicians. Don't have a secret life and a public life. Don't have a secret doctrine and a public doctrine. I know many young pastors that do that today. They preach one thing, but secretly they believe another thing. If you want to be free, then live free. Don't ever try to live in secrets. Don't ever try to live with hidden things. Don't ever try to live with things that are whispered in the darkness. Just live your life that this is who I am, love me or leave me. This is who I am, take it or leave it. You don't try to be a politician. You don't try to be politically correct. You don't try to live a brand that someone or yourself has created for yourself. You just live who you are. Live free. Now, if you'll listen to me today, if Jesus tarries, you can have the most wonderful life. Because when people attack you, there's nothing that they can get a hold of you on. They can lie about you, but there's nothing that they can really say that you don't say, well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right, I did that. Yeah, you're right, I said that. Never live a life in the shadows. Live a life right out in the open. That's how you stay away from hypocrisy.